everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tina, and today we are not in my yarn corner. We are actually just on my couch in the living room. I'm currently working on a new cast on, and I've gotten pretty far, so I figured I would check in and show you the progress. This project is actually going to be a trial project for a final piece that I'm gonna be making like 2 years from now. Essentially, the story behind this is that my cousin is getting married. I wanted to make her and her husband some matching cable knit sweaters. So throughout like the last week, I've been sort of like throwing knitting patterns at her to see like which ones she was interested in. So some of the options that I showed her was, I think it's called the Ingrid sweater by petiteknit, and then the Moby sweater was also an option. I chose those two just because like petiteknit has like a male and female version of the sweaters. After all of those options, we decided on the Dagmar Jacket. It's also a petiteknit pattern. So I will be knitting like the zipper version for her husband, and I'm gonna knit a cardigan version for her. I haven't decided on the yarn at all, but I figured in anticipation for this project, which will be due about like 2 years from now, when they actually get married, I figured I would try to do like a test run, just make one for myself first and see how the pattern goes. And I was just gonna do it on like, you know, destash yarn that's not like too important to me, just to like try it out, and then so I can get familiar with the pattern, so that when I eventually make the final like 2 matching sweaters for them in like probably a higher quality yarn, that I will have like read through the pattern, done the pattern, that I'd be more familiar with it and I would probably make less mistakes. The sweater is worked top down, so I'm starting with the back yoke, but here's how it's looking. I think the honeycomb pattern is really cool. Luckily, this is like a trial run because I realized that I had done one of the cable twists the wrong way. It's like turning around this way, even though it started going this way. And then it curved, and then it started going the other way. Far away, it's not like too noticeable, but I'm loving how the cable is turning out, and I'm hoping that it'll block really well. It's a little tight right now. This is over 2 days of work, and because I haven't done a cable project in a really long time, like it was super addicting to do. So I'm using the Karen Blossom Cakes in the color Yacht Club, and I'm hoping that I can get the entire sweater done in just 2 cakes. Then I really don't want to have to buy a 3rd cake of these, but we'll see. That's my progress. Hello. So, lighting questionable. So while my very cute sweater is blocking for the next like 15 minutes or so, I figured I would give you an update. So as I said before, this version that I'm making right now is a practice run for a final wedding gift that I want to give to my cousins like about 1 to 2 years from now when they actually get married. But I used to think that I really hated cables until this project. I just like cannot stop knitting it. I just think it's so fun. Well, there are some parts that are more fun than others. I like that they are short cables, so it's easy to just like pinch like the stitches and not have to use a cable needle. And because I am not studying and I am clearly procrastinating, this project has gotten a lot of work done on it. Here's the progress. I'm really close to joining the front and the back. It looks incredible. I really like the yarn. This yarn is actually super great for the cable definition because it's like a chain knit. So it's like a tube and then they blow fibers into it. I mean, I thought about like trying to plan out the color changes and stuff because this is like a multicolor, like gradual yarn. But then I was like, you know what, whatever, I don't care. I feel like it's fine. I don't know if you can see it on camera. It's slightly different. Actually, on camera, they look quite close.
for the wedding gift, I'm gonna try to find a yarn wool blend, because I really want it to be machine washable. I just don't really imagine them like hand washing their knits every time. Like, I'm a knitter, so I would be willing to like put in that effort. I mean, I don't think it's that much work, but I imagine that it would be much more work for other people. So I'm on the hunt for a worsted weight machine washable wool blend. So if you guys have any suggestions about what I could use, put it down in the comments. I'd be curious to know. But yeah, that's the progress so far. I think that my other sweater is done blocking now, so I'm just gonna go check on that.
I have been working on this for the past few weeks. Totally forgot to film any of it. Yeah, so finally here I am. So I'm almost done with the body. I'm working on the ribbing right now. A lot of people were saying on Ravelry that they were kind of annoyed that the cables didn't line up at the shoulders. I didn't even bother to like alter the pattern at all to try to line the cables up, honestly, because it's my first time making this jacket, so I just wanted to do exactly to pattern. So maybe the next one I will do that little trick that everyone was doing to line it up.
This shoulder is like even worse. It's like not even close to lining up.
I do understand people's concerns because this pattern is like pretty up there in price. I guess they would assume like details like that would have been worked out by the time it got to them, or by the time that it got published to be sold. For a designer like petiteknit of like such high caliber and like such popularity, you would think that those types of like design elements would be worked out a little bit better. And I saw the pictures like on her website and like on Ravelry too. It's not like her cables like lined up either, so that really is how the pattern was designed. Anyways, that's my progress.
Chugging along on this. I really want to finish the ribbing on this today, but I'm starting to feel like pain in the back of my pinkies and like the back of my hand again, so I might have to like stop for today. Yeah.
The weight of the project is becoming like a lot on my needles. So I had to take a break like all of Sunday because I started getting cramps in my fingers, and like when I knit and I'm on a roll, like I don't stop. So I think that I was straining myself a little bit too much over the past few days trying to like finish up the body of this. I would say out of all of the, I guess, sections of the project, I think that the honeycomb cable part is like my least favorite. I plan to make like 2 more of these as wedding gifts for my cousins. So like I just like cannot even imagine having to make 2 more of these and have to knit so many honeycombs, but I guess we're gonna have to cross that road when we get there.
Hello everyone. I finally read through the comments that people have left, and a commenter said that like my mic is better served like attached to my like shirt or like a little bit farther away from my mouth, I guess. I'm gonna try this now, and hopefully like all the wind noise and all like the weird audio that I've been having in the past few videos kind of like improves a little bit. Don't mind the bags under my eyes because I never get sleep at baseline anyways. Yes, back to what I've been working on this week. I am now at the neckline. So here's how it's turning out. The button bands
were surprisingly very, very easy. It's a classic 1x1 rib. I've never done the buttonholes like this, but they look really, really neat. The thing about using sort of like variegated colored yarn is that like you kind of can't plan what colors you're gonna get while you're working on it. So like one side is a little bit more gray, and then the other side is a little bit more like a cream white. But honestly, it's not so obvious that I really care. The pattern is super clear. Around the button band, I think I had to like reread it a few times because I was kind of confused by her wording, but figured it out in the end. And yeah, we are smooth going. Hello, Editing Tina here with a voiceover. What happened here was that I ran out of yarn, and then I figured instead of like running out to Michael's and buying a whole fresh new cake, that I would be like a raccoon and try to scavenge it from one of my older projects that I know that I'm not going to finish. So this is what's happening right here on the screen, is that I am unraveling a very, very old unfinished project. It's actually the step-by-step sweater by Florence. Like, no shade or no tea to the designer. I just kind of got bored and then didn't feel like finishing this project, so here we are. I'm going to unravel it and use it for this project and this Dagmar jacket instead. It is now sort of like the middle of December. We had a virtual holiday party at work, so I have on my Christmas gear. You know, 'tis the season, December. Not sure when the last time I updated you on this project is, but I will update you right now. Both sleeves are done. The whole thing is blocked. All the ends are woven in. It looks super good, I think, when I hold it up and stuff. But I feel like I didn't expect it to look so awkward. Obviously this yarn is variegated, so I can't really control like where the striping and where like the color gradations would happen. But I tried to do my best to line up everything. But you can definitely see in the cuff sleeves that they are a little bit different. Like one side leans more gray and the other one leans a little bit more like the orange tan. Same thing in the two front panels. You can see that this side sort of starts off gray, and then this side also, the pickup part also starts out a gray, but I could not control how long the length of those like parts would be. You know what, honestly, like this is pretty good considering the circumstances of this yarn. But if I were gonna do this again, I would definitely just pick a yarn that is like one colored, so that I could save myself the headache. There is something missing in this cardigan, and it is the buttons. So I went to my local yarn shop recently, and I, looked through their options. So I found 3 of them. One of them was this like wooden dowel type of button that like petiteknit used in her original pattern. Another one was like a really simple like white plastic classic looking button. And then the last one is this sort of like pearlescent round one with a gold detailing on the perimeter. The dowel ones were on sale for like 25 cents. So I was so tempted just because they were like much cheaper than all the other ones. But I think aesthetically, I probably prefer the white plain buttons the most. But unfortunately, they only had 3 and I needed 6 for this entire cardigan. So I did end up just picking like that pearl one. All I need to do is basically to sew these on, and then the cardigan is completely done. And then I'm gonna wrap it up and give it to one of my cousins for Christmas. And if you wanted to know more about like what kinds of things I'm gifting this year for Christmas, you can check out my last video. I did like a whole video on that. In the beginning of the pattern, I thought that the cables would all like twist the same way. As I got like deeper into the chart, that's when I realized that they were actually facing different ways. So instead of going back and like
ripping down that section, I just decided whatever, I'm just gonna change direction. I would probably do the cables a little bit more accurately because this is like my first one and I like am not a perfectionist. Another thing that I wish that I did was to do that hack that everyone was talking about to get their cables on the front and the back to line up. And since it was my first time doing this pattern and like doing any sort of like petite knit garment pattern, I just decided I was going to keep it simple and I was going to do everything that she said in the pattern and not deviate. You would think for a petite knit pattern that they would. So the next time that I do this, I will definitely be doing that as well. The next time that I do this will be when I make matching ones for my cousin as like her wedding gift. So I'll definitely try and make it much more perfect that time. Besides that, I mean, petite knit pattern. So I mean, it was very well written. Like I didn't really have that many problems at all. Like here and there I was like, oh, this wording is a little bit strange, but I figured it out. It wasn't like that bad to the point where like I need to go and dig into Ravelry and like dig into like Reddit forums or whatever to ask questions. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing for the rest of my day. I'm gonna try and sew in all of the buttons so I can just get this thing done. Okay, I'm back. The sun has set, even though it's like 4:30. Anyways, that's why I have to use my overhead lighting right now and it's kind of like very white. I finished. I love it. I think that these buttons make this cardigan like look a little bit more dressy than the other options. Originally, I kind of wanted it to lean more casual, but I actually like it this way as well. And I think that it kind of suits my cousin's style more. Glad that it's finally done. I'm gonna eventually wrap this up. Let me weigh this so then we can figure out how much yarn I destashed. So the entire project, I believe, took me about 2 cakes and obviously some change because I believe this is my 3rd one. I still have this much left and I'm thinking I will make like a scarf out of it for one of my other cousins. I don't know if I'm gonna finish in time for Christmas, probably not. But that's pretty much it for this video. Lately, I've just been knitting and knitting and knitting, so I actually have like a bunch of projects that I have so much progress on and like no footage. The problem is I don't always remember to like turn on the camera. So yeah, that's that. So if you like me, you like this video and hanging out with me in my tiny yarn corner, go ahead and like this video and subscribe if you feel like it, and I will see you when I see you next. Bye!